And here we are for episode 10 of Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games. We got Dave, Mike, and myself broadcasting from the Insane Games in Queensbury, New York. And down south, we got Tyler broadcasting from the Insane Games in the Clearwater Mall, or Countryside Mall, Clearwater, Florida, with a interesting shirt you're wearing there. What is that? A bunch of dots and polka dots? And what do we got going on?
The body motion capture guy.
What's going on there?
Looks like Andy Serkis. Planet of the Apes kind of business.
I'm gonna be on 2K next year. I have to wear this shirt so I could shoot some shots against James Harden.
Did they call you in because of that no look 3-pointer you shot?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's the moment.
And I think Dan leaked some video footage of me breaking Tom and Mike's ankles in the store that one time we were playing 2-on-2. So
I don't believe that.
Who was on your team?
It's propaganda, Johnny.
Oh, I was gonna say, because if it was you and Dan against Tom and Mike, then
we would have lost if Dan was on my team.
Well, I don't play basketball,
so walk straight and chew bubblegum, so.
Cool. So we ready? Episode 10. We made it here so far. Let's keep it going. We ready? Boater, run it. And we're back, episode 10, Behind the Counter, the big 1-0-10. We got a pretty big show for you here today. We got Joe and Amy coming on board later to discuss a little WWE and their channel at Geek for All, which is on YouTube and Twitter. So we'll be glad to have them on to discuss some WWE. They're actually helping us out at the Saratoga Comic-Con, and so you'll be able to see them there. Make sure you subscribe, like us, and follow us on our Facebook pages at Insane Games NY, Insane Games FL. Also on Twitter at pod_BTC. Twitch at Insane Video Games. Joe and Amy at Geek for All, and Geek for All YT on Twitter, and just Geek for All on YouTube. And Instagram, what is it? I couldn't find it quick enough for Instagram. What is it for Instagram?
Is he frozen or? Does it say?
Is it on Instagram?
wow.
It looked like he was just giving him attitude for a second.
That was Tyler's segment. He's
And see you later, Tyler. Can you hear me?
And I say boom, I
Yeah, did you bump the Xbox again?
No, I just got disconnected.
He's actually nowhere near the Xbox this time. If it gets turned off, it'll be the first time on the program a guest turns you off.
Next time that happens, I'm going to Skype headquarters and I'm fighting them.
Which one of you wants the hands?
They're gonna get these hands.
On episode 11.
Pod on Instagram.
Thank you. That's what I was waiting for.
On episode 11, Tyler fights Skype.
Do they even have a corporate headquarters, or are they just
They have to.
imagination?
They could probably hire anybody they want. They might hire M'Baku to fight you if you go over there.
No, they'll get the almighty right hand, Chuck Liddell.
Whoa, the Iceman?
They will pay him $600 to like knock out this small fool.
He's washed up. Put my money on Tyler.
Just go after his kneecaps.
Low block.
Well, either way, that's all of our plugs, so make sure you check us out on any of those. Subscribe, follow, comment, like us, everything. Also, make sure you come and check us out at the Saratoga Comic-Con next week, April 7th and 8th. I've been saying it wrong before.
Wow.
We'll have 2 booths in the main room and the exhibitor room. Next week, we'll have Sam Chase, the president of the Saratoga Comic-Con, on here to give us some final updates on what he's expecting for the show. I know all the VIPs are sold out. All the booths are sold out.
Yeah.
All the exhibitors are sold out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting event. We're excited. All 4 of us will be here. Joe and Amy will be joining us as well. So make sure you check us out. Hopefully we'll be running around like maniacs on the podcast, maybe interviewing some people there, some visitors, some customers. or just fooling around with ourselves there behind the counter at one of the booths.
That doesn't sound weird at all.
Yeah, that doesn't sound.
Some poor wordage.
So this week, I know all of us have been playing a little Fortnite. Quick talk about that, so we don't
not
drag on the same
playing.
subject.
Not playing. There's been good results since then, and I think we should have Mike announce what has happened in Fortnite.
First of all, I think I pulled my back. We'll get that right out of the way. But
Oh, how did you pull your back, Mike? What happened? Were you lifting something heavy? Were you?
the squad got its first win.
Oh,
It was
congratulations!
glorious. It was glorious. But I had 3 kills. Dan had 0. What do
Was
you have
I
to say
alive
about
at the end?
Yeah, but
Okay, so I brought my part along. Don't be giving me that I didn't help. I was right there at the end when
Classic Dan not helping. Classic.
So if you go back to what is it, Insane Video Games on Twitch, you can hear Mike actually about mid-game when the competition really starts, just go and like pick up the effort on the team.
Dan and Germ Dog were both down, and I had to save them both and
Are
build
you
around
sure
them.
that sound was from him carrying someone, or?
Yep, it was me blowing my
all
back
I
out.
know is at the end of the day, I was alive. You would have a better argument, Mike, if I was dead in the game, but I was alive. So a lot of work
I
went
would
into
rather be dead with a couple of kills at least than be alive with 0. It's like you're hiding in the bushes.
Argue, and it was a team game.
because you know what? I was taking it as a team game until this one got greedy and said it was all about him.
Game-winning kill.
Mike,
Actually
here's what
revives,
Mike doesn't go over.
3
What
kills.
Mike doesn't explain is that at the beginning of the game, okay,
This
I
is
had to
another
come
game.
in and had to take down 2 people and save Germ
0.
Dog. Because you took the kills from him. I had to
History,
do that.
Dan. Unfortunately, history will remember that at the end of the game, 3 Germ Dog had what? 2 kills.
Yeah, Germ Dog had 0 kills.
Germ Dog had 2. We'll say for safety's sake.
He had 0, Dave. I'm telling you, he had 0.
Or perhaps did Germ Dog have? Oh, gotta bring it
Start
out.
with the signs, Dave.
Gotta. This one actually.
Stop.
Was there 3 kills and 11 deaths?
Has nothing to do with 11.
But so you have a win. You have a win.
I have 2 wins.
You have 2 wins. You also helped me get
One
a
of
win.
which was with.
Did you get any kills, Dave?
I did. I had 1
got the
kill.
game-winning kill.
I mafioso styled. This guy was
Going on right
hiding
now.
under the ground, and Germ Dog and I were like, "This game is taking much too long."
Did Germ
And
Dog
so
have a kill?
I may have
Probably
stolen the
not.
kill from
So
him.
Sand Snake Jeremy has been weaseling his way through all of them. This one, were you even alive when you got your win?
Alright, so because you guys are talking all about, how you're alive at the end. I could hide in a bush all game and still be alive at the end. But here's what happened on the superior system of PlayStation 4.
Oh?
I was playing
Christ.
with Brendan, who works at the store down here on his off time from school, and I was playing with 2 of his friends, and we were like, alright, we're getting this W because we must have played at least five games. So I must have revived Brendan 5 times at least.
5
And I
times.
must have revived
5 times.
I
Really,
must have revived
twice.
the other people like 2 other times. So I was like the medic.
2
I was
times.
the medic of the. I at least got some kills though. I had 2 kills, but I got that W. I wasn't alive at the end, but I went out in the blades of glory. That's all that matters.
Sounds like you got carried.
All I know is,
I got carried, but I'm content because I
all
got the
I
W.
know is we had a nice win. It was on the stream here that we won. Mike, myself, and Jeremy, and Zach got knocked out at the beginning. So we're a 3-man team from pretty much the start all the way to the end. Either way, it was a great moment. We're all having fun, and this one runs into the back and immediately calls Tom to explain to Tom how he was the one
had to
that
set
won
the
it.
story
I mean,
straight
no one
before
can
anyone-
even explain that we won yet. Mike's already throwing Jeremy and I under the bus to Tom, telling everyone that, Dan and Jeremy didn't even do anything.
It was one of the greatest moments I had.
You
in Fortnite.
know that Dan was upset about it because when you came back out and said something, Jeremy immediately was like, "That's not fair! I did such good!" And
was
Dan,
taking cheeks at the
you
end.
knew Dan got really upset because he just got real quiet.
Whatever,
pretty-
it's bullshit, Mike.
So
Stupid that you would go and
Anger-
throw your teammates under the bus.
bus throwing off of and out of a
Meanwhile,
side.
Dave just runs around when he gets a win, getting supplies.
He was a very valuable teammate.
And somehow gets a kill at the
He's a
end.
team player. Unlike
did his part.
You're just a guy that goes out there and gets shot in
I
the
am-
head.
me?
And then we got to go revive you, and then you get shot in the head again. So
This one
you're-
just runs off. I tried playing it, but I've never had more stress playing Fortnite than with this one, because you can't hear him on the mic, and then he's running around. You're going to Greasy Grove, and he's going all the way over here, and it's like then when our whole team dies, Tyler's the one that's left because he wasn't with the whole team in the first place.
It is classic taking your dog off the leash for the first time. You start to walk in one direction, and all of a sudden everyone gets off the bus, and just immediately, Tyler is gone. Nowhere to be found.
You
I like to
did.
think of myself as Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. So
How
I'm
so?
going around trying to kill people and maybe give you guys some extra intelligence along the way, but you guys die, and I can't help that.
You know why else that comparison there is apt, correct?
Why?
To Tom Cruise?
Why?
I mean,
He's also a tiny person.
he's also a short man that they framed so that he looks taller. You are above all of us. Well,
I didn't think about that
people-
one.
people
That's a
like-
good comparison, though.
people at the convention are going to be very surprised because they're going to be like, Tyler's the tallest.
Maybe I should dress up as Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible.
God.
I would love that.
Or just throwing it out there, you could be Scientology Tom Cruise, and everybody would
No,
get the
I'm
reference
good.
right away.
I'm good.
Just
Did you
walk-
know Clearwater's the capital of Scientology down here?
What?
Yeah, there's buildings everywhere in Clearwater.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was very, very salty when Mike went and did that.
Jokes
threw us-
aside, it was a
threw
glorious
us under
win
the
for the
bus.
squad.
Were you Salty Springs?
Yeah, maybe
Wow.
if we were there.
While Mike was Moisty Myers?
Whatever. Either way, it was a big week. Either way, all of us at Behind the Counter here got our first win in Fortnite this week. Hopefully next week we'll have more to come. We'll keep a weekly. Oh, that's right. Last week we all said what our status was in Fortnite. I said
You're
I was a
still bad,
beginner.
man.
I would now say maybe as a 1 being a beginner and 10 being great. I was maybe a 2
You're still
last
a
week.
1.
I'm up to about a 4 now.
That's
Mike?
a solid improvement.
Mike, oh, I'm the greatest ever alive.
8.5 to 9.5.
Whatever. Tyler,
Somewhere
what about
around
you?
there.
9.69.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
6.9 then.
I like that one.
Dave, what would you rank yourself now?
4 stars.
Well,
Dave's
Dave's
I would
ranking
say
himself
that I'm-
4, then I'm definitely a 5.
I am
'Cause I'm
4-star
definitely better than
Dave. I'm trying for 5-star Fortnite Dave, but I'm just not there yet. I'm really not giving the customers what they need, what they want. I got to add to my kill game.
I was very satisfied with your material gathering.
It wasn't on stream though, unfortunately, but we were getting to late game where everybody does the stupidest thing where you have like 10 people, everyone's building these ridiculously tall towers just for someone with a rocket launcher to knock them down. And I walked straight over to Mike and just dropped over 500 wood material for Mike to build as he needed because he was going to get lots of kills. And then I spent the rest of the time flushing out morons who were just so happy to shoot at me, even though I was just mooning at them.
Were you
It was-
flipping them off, Dave?
I
When
was.
you crossed the map?
I was. I was giving him the bird, and then
And then you pulled your pants down?
maybe, maybe.
Jesus.
Randy Moss style.
So last week we didn't get into Stud or Dud. And
Which
this
some
week-
people did miss, so your voices were heard, and it's back.
And we got a lot of games coming out for the close out the month of March. I know we have 2 of the yearly baseball games coming out. We have RBI baseball
Yeah, you
for
can
PS4
barely-
and Xbox One. And we have MLB The Show just for PS4. So I know we're all going to shit on RBI baseball right off the bat, so we won't even bring that one up. So
It's bad.
what
It's just
about
so bad.
MLB The Show? Tyler, you play that one all the time?
It's gonna be a stud. I haven't even looked at any gameplay of it. I just know that I'm gonna invest at least 20 hours into it the first day I get it. So
And that comes out Tuesday, I believe.
Yes.
yeah, 27.
Yep. Dave, do you
A
play
month.
as a PS4 guy? Do you play a lot of the?
Now, I didn't. I did not, but watching Tyler last year, he allowed me to watch his Dynasty mode a little bit via PlayStation 4. I will be purchasing my own copy of the game, and I will probably lose to Tyler in every game we face off at, but my signature pitch will be fastball straight down the center. He'll never see it coming. Every time.
The spitball.
If you hit every single player on his roster in the face with the ball, eventually he'll have no players. My game.
I like that.
That game will be a stud. Mike, what do you think?
Mike doesn't care. He hates baseball.
It's PS4 exclusive. Boo.
So you're giving it a dud? Are you giving
Dud.
RBI baseball? Are we just dudding RBI baseball straight ahead?
I'm not even bringing it up.
All right, so dud.
It's probably not even a $59.99 game when it comes out.
So we wrote it on the paper to not talk about it. Awesome.
Yeah, one of the biggest
Just
insults you
to
can get.
acknowledge it, to not acknowledge it.
We acknowledge it so we could get excited, and then we would just be like, nah.
Because not a soul's going to walk into either one of our stores and ask for it. And we just know how it's going to go. I don't even know why they bother making it. Because what?
You know what game they are going to ask about? Titan on Attack 2. Oh, I mean, Attack Titan.
Oh my God, Tyler!
Whoa!
That's quite the.
I got destroyed last week when I said
was gonna
it.
say.
Okay, and now you now did it as well.
No, I did. I was mocking you because you don't know how to say attack on the Titan. Attack on Titan. It's not that hard. Attack on Titan 2.
You can't just put a the in there. It's stupid. Attack on Titan. Attack on the Titan. So, are we going to talk about that one? I mean, what do we think? Is it stud or dud? I don't even remember the first
All right.
one, so...
I think it's going to be a stud. The first one sold like gangbusters, and nobody was unhappy with it. It was a niche game, but it served the niche people correctly. The mechanics for the characters, long story short, they use Spider-Man-esque grappling devices to whiz around these gigantic monsters. And the mechanics were good, like the old Spider-Man games were good. So... The most difficult thing they would have had to get over, they did correctly. I don't see them screwing it up for the second game, and because the anime is continuing to grow, they have more story to build onto and ignore in the game itself. So I think it'll be a stud. I do.
Okay, Mike?
I think it'll be a stud. Most of the reasons is I don't know too much about it, but I do remember people asking for it a lot when the first one came out. So.
Wasn't that absurd?
Yeah,
like we bought like
don't-
one copy. It sold 15 minutes after we opened, and like for the rest of the day, we were like, ooh.
What a shame.
I think we know my stance. Tyler?
I think Attack on Titan 2 is going to be...
See,
a
I think
stud.
he's really screwing it up, and he's trying to save himself by
I'm
trying to say
not.
it's a joke on me.
Here's the funny thing. I actually know how to read, so I know it's Attack on Titan 2.
Whoa.
Shots fired.
Please, is Dakota in chat giving us the salt that we need?
Earlier he did.
Good. All right, good. He's holding it down for us.
A Way Out. I've heard a little bit about this, the creativity of the game. I think, are we going to see a little Tyler Dave playing this?
Yes,
maybe one
we
night?
are. Yes, we are. Not this week. This week on my broadcast, I'm actually playing a game we won't discuss, but I'm having a friend of the store, Tom Thompson, on.
Whoa.
So that'll be Wednesday at 5:40. We're going to be live at 5:45 for the weekend Wednesday. But definitely check that out. But 2 weeks from now, Tyler, when you might be in New York, would you like to play A Way Out?
Duh.
All right. The wettest thing I found out about that game, it is forced co-op. You have to have two people playing. You can't play it by yourself. There's no stupid AI to ruin it. Much like Army of Two. If any of us have played it solo, it's terrible with its computer player. Worse than Resident Evil. Like, ugh. You only have to own one copy of the game, and you can network share it to the other person. You're bringing your PS4, right?
Wait, we don't have another PS4 up there?
We sold it.
No, I'm not bringing it.
We've never had one.
Well, then we will not be playing it.
We can't play it on the same system?
What? It's network play only.
Wow.
Closed, I'm sorry.
I might have to bring my own system.
You might have to brave airline security with a Sony PlayStation.
I bring my Xbox. I don't really... They don't really.
Looks like you guys might just have to play on Xbox.
We might have to play on Xbox, Dave.
Is it an
Yikes.
Xbox One though? Is
Music
it
to my
Xbox?
ears, indeed.
Yeah, it is.
You'll have to play an Xbox. Look at that, Mike. Well.
However, to go back to the spirit of the segment, we might have to play on X.
Can someone please trade in a PlayStation 4? ASAP.
Selling it.
Please.
Selling it for that.
I think a way out will be. It's out, so it's a stud. I think people are already liking it. A lot of reviewers are saying that it's got a pretty good story, considering that that's what you play it for.
Right. Tyler, you obviously are probably looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a stud because I always get a lot of people that are asking for co-op games, and I think it's going to be a nice addition to the next gen systems that they don't have a lot of forced co-op games like this. I don't even think they have any. So I think it's going to be a stud for that reason. A lot of people are definitely going to want to play it for sure.
Mike, do you have a thought?
I think stud. Co-op games, I love them. So
I think
to
you'll
play
be.
with some friends.
I think it's unique. I think it'll be a stud.
And greasy prison stuff.
I think people are gonna like. I think
Something
people are
like
gonna like
that.
the challenge of trying to get out. I think it'll be.
Mike, do you
interesting.
have experience of that, like from a friend? Or
I
no?
watch prison shows on Netflix.
Actually, might I add, I was on Hulu today, and guess what I came across? The Aaron Hernandez story on Oxygen.
Don't
I
spoil
went-
it for me. I plan on watching.
Do you really?
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
I've heard the sports talk I listened to in the morning. They gave that rave reviews. They said it's actually very good, considering that we talk about it in jest, but they said it was a pretty good view as to his whole thing, where he went from like 2 weeks from starting a game and then he was in prison for life. Like
Framed. Completely innocent.
I just don't trust Oxygen. I don't like that network at all.
Well, it's a network for women, so I would imagine you wouldn't like it.
Whoa.
Oxygen. Whoa! Is it not?
no.
Okay. Far Cry. Yes, it is. Far Cry 5.
Wait, don't they show ER on Oxygen?
No, Oxygen. I believe
Yeah,
is
they do.
over
I think they do.
They do show.
No, ER's on Pop.
No.
ER's on the Pop channel, not Oxygen. Far Cry 5. We got to finish up our stud and dud.
I believe that game will be a stud. I think, to be honest, it is going to draw some controversy and mire due to the fact that they directly referenced hotbed political topics today.
Right.
I don't want to talk about them because I don't have the perspective on them, but they are directly referencing a lot of things in it. Far Cry has never shied away from those things. Far Cry 3 and 2 were definitely on par with things that were making the news those days. The Caveman one, not so much, but that goes into a different topic. But I think it'll be a stud. It has a good, solid base to it, and it has some fun mechanics that you don't see in any other first-person shooter.
Far Cry, I think it's going to be a stud as well. Far Cry's done well. I enjoyed Primal. That was fun, running through taming stuff. And
Right. Well, all the Far Cries have always been somewhat successful.
as I say, I'm pretty sure just on name alone it'll be
Right.
a stud. So
Tyler?
Stud, I'm definitely going to play it. I like the whole cult aspect.
So you got a busy week. You got a couple games coming out.
I'm intrigued. Well, no, I'm still gonna play Fortnite like it's nobody's business, but
It's a free game. How can you not? How can you turn that down?
is nice.
I've never had more fun with a free game than playing Fortnite. And I'm one of the. If it's not $59.99, it's not a game. Hey, you gotta have. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
$39.99. Come on down to Dan Shake Shack.
Come on down to games. These aren't games.
Start a Doug segment. Make sure.
There was one more, and I did actually want to mention it
Yeah.
really quick.
The one on the top?
I'm going to hop on really quick, just because I'm not wearing a mic this time. But Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered just came out.
Voted out with your Assassin's Creed
No,
propaganda.
here's the thing, is that when that game came out, it came out the same year as Assassin's Creed Unity, and it just came out on the 360. I'm going to say stud on this one because it's a game that deserved more love, and it was kind of like this, it was a late generation release that came out opposite another game. It was actually quite a good game. Now, the 360 version is backwards compatible on Xbox One, but for people that might have missed it the first time around, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm going to say stud on Assassin's Creed Rogue. Wanted to get that out there quick.
Mike.
How much is it?
We saw how my feelings were on
Um,
Assassin's Creed last week.
When it originally came out, I think it was $39. So that makes this one sad. But
Not a game for Dan.
It's actually $29.99.
yeah. I don't know why I'm bothered.
Dan's gonna get sick. Like if you bring one from Florida and hold it near him, like you'll get him scared out of the room. Like that's a AAA title.
Boater tried. He got shot out and he's gone. He tried.
So next week, I definitely want a table that we should talk about Stutter Dud in a little bit of depth. Sea of Thieves, is it having No Man's Sky syndrome? Next week on the show, we should definitely talk about that.
All right, so that's the Starter Dud. Again, make sure you check us out.
I have PlayStation 4, so.
On all of our YouTube, actually I didn't bring up YouTube last time. Behind the Counter on YouTube, Facebook, Insane Games NY, Insane Games FL, Insane Video Games right here on Twitch. Make sure you check us out Wednesday night for Weekends on Wednesday, right?
Weekend.
Weekends
Just
on
like
Wednesday.
to add words.
What is
it's
it?
The Weekend Wednesday.
The Weekend Wednesday. And then also Insane Games Late Night on Thursday night. Dave's Wednesday, Mike and I are Thursday. Tyler fits in the middle somewhere. And then hopefully we'll have Tyler on over the weekend.
Attack on the Titan, right?
Right. And well, I don't know. I don't have the name of the Wednesday show here. That's why I
The
I
Weekend,
tried.
the Wednesday, the
It
Titan.
doesn't matter, you wouldn't know how to read it anyway.
Well,
So.
up next, we got Joe and Amy coming in from Geek for All. They're going to talk to us a little bit about their channel. And then also we're going to bring you into the exciting times of WWE as we come towards the road to WrestleMania. And we're back, episode 10 of Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games. We welcome Joe and Emily from Geek for All.
Hello.
Amy.
YouTube.
And who? Joe and...
Amy.
Wow.
You said Emily.
Oh my God, Amy.
But
you know why I
but
say
it's-
that?
it is.
Okay,
It's-
you know why I say that?
Yes.
All right.
An attack of the Emily
And Amy, sorry about that.
Wednesday.
From Geek for All's Twitch channel, or Twitter and YouTube. Welcome to the program.
Dan, I'm sorry. We're attacking you from multiple angles, giving you names, and then also making fun of. So I apologize to you.
Well, you know, I don't make
I don't know.
first off, I don't make stupid mistakes. There's a reason why I said those two names.
Yes.
Anyone who's watching who knows probably knows that as well. They're another game store in the area. So,
We're friendos with them. Don't worry.
welcome to the show.
Thank you guys
You
for having
guys,
us.
first off, helped us out at the Saratoga Comic-Con back in November. Helped us pick up. Dave and I were attending. But outside of that, you guys know Dave very well, and Dave brought you guys in here to the store, brought you into the Comic-Con. We're excited to have you guys come to our help us out. This is coming next weekend. The 7th and 8th, Saratoga Comic-Con. We'll be there.
Keep your hands down. You're kind of welcome, Joe.
And
Dan.
so why don't you guys give a little bit about your channel and what you guys focus on?
Sure. We actually, it's kind of in front of Amy over there. We focus a lot on Magic cards. So originally it was we've done board games and things like that, but we ended up moving mostly into Magic the Gathering. It's a game that I've been playing since I was very, very young, and now we do 2 videos a week. On Mondays, we do pack openings, which you already saw or will see. Did it happen already?
No, it'll be, we're going to post that probably later.
So there'll be something a little bit later, kind of corresponding to that. That'll be some fun. We had some fun with that. So definitely check that out later. And then on Thursdays, Amy and I actually sit and do our review show, which we call Jar, Joe, and Amy Review, where we review the Magic stories. It's fantasy stories that come out relating to the card game and the cards that are released. We actually just returned to Dominaria, where if you used to play Magic back in the day, you're probably familiar with that plane, because that was where a lot of the older cards were set. Characters like Urza and Mishra, the Brothers' War, things like that are like old school Magic the Gathering fans would remember. It's the 25th anniversary of Magic the Gathering, so they're like making a big push for that now to return to Dominaria, and it's kind of a big thing. And so we just started the Magic stories, which they actually brought in a famous fantasy author to write those stories for them. Yes, and sci-fi. Thank you. In Martha Wells, and it's been great so far. We've done over 100 episodes of Jar so far.
Yep.
We have. I wrote down little snippets of our channel. We have over 350 videos on the channel. We have over 50,000 total channel views. We've been around for a while, so if you want to check us out, like Dan
Please
mentioned,
do.
Geek for All on YouTube. Like I said, 2 videos a week. So, but otherwise, regardless, thank you
Sounds
for having us.
interesting. Yeah, definitely. Glad you guys came on. And we'll make sure we throw a link or something up on our page. Your logo was supposed to come up on here, but somehow
It's in the slideshow. You start clicking past it.
it's
Because
not.
it's above the picture of me and our friend who purchased a game that we firmly believed
I
we
don't
would
know
never
why
sell.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
There's a reason why you didn't come the first time. But yeah, so you guys have a pretty good following that really check in and
Absolutely. The discussion on our Thursday shows in particular are a lot. It's people love going to read the stories and then coming and seeing what we have to say and what they give their opinions, and we kind of go back and
Right.
forth. So
Yeah, we
it's
try
a
to
good time.
do sort of an in-depth analysis on
Right.
the stories.
that's good.
Yeah.
You guys have also been acknowledged via social, critically acclaimed, as we would put it, after we became published, by people who write the Magic stories as well
Yes.
as the people around them. Is that not true?
Yeah, some people have kind of talked to us in the background, but other people they'll retweet us in instances or like our stuff or compliment us in general, which is always super flattering and really nice to be noticed when we do stuff like that. So we're not sponsored by Magic the Gathering in any
Definitely
way,
not.
shape, or form. But
That would be great.
That would be great if anybody has any connections. But regardless, we love doing it, and so getting that kind of recognition and that response is really
Right.
nice.
No, that's great. That's great.
Yep.
I have a question. Hold on. You guys do Dungeons and Dragons too?
You know what? It's funny. I wrote that down here. We have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for many years, and we've been recording our most recent sessions. Not anything out yet because it's a lot of editing and stuff to do, but yes, we've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for years. Amy just started this campaign that we're in right now is Amy's first Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yes.
So yes, we've been playing for a couple of years now, recording. I think we have over 25 sessions in this current game of 3 to 4 hours a piece recorded, which is just a lot of editing that Joe gets to do, which is great.
And none of the videos are up yet. Sorry about that.
Dave, you trying to play some D&D when I'm up there?
I would. Be
Now,
still, my
on a
heart.
side question: do you guys do a lot of the Pokemon cards too at all, or?
We don't. I used to play when I was younger, and that was about it. I've been very entrenched in Magic, and that's kind of
Right.
where I've stayed. So, and I mean, Amy kind of just got involved with Magic after hearing me pester her about it forever, and eventually finding her own way to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm into the art. I love doing cosplay and stuff like that.
So, any cosplayers, if you're watching this, come up to us at Saratoga Comic Con, say
Yeah.
hi. We love cosplay.
Hit
Do you
me
guys
up.
are you guys doing anything for the event? You guys going as anything, or?
I wasn't planning on it.
Amy's most recent costume, which she worked really hard on, and
it
we'll
took
have a
so
video.
long.
We'll have a video up on it soon. Broke towards the end of that event, so it'd be a little bit
Yeah.
difficult for her to put that back on. But we'll actually have a video coming out soon. We vlogged at one of the Grand Prix that they did in New Jersey, and Amy cosplayed as one of the Magic characters.
So, for the uninitiated, what is a Magic the Gathering Grand Prix?
Sure, it's a big tournament, essentially. To dumb it down a little bit, it's a big tournament. You come and you can play in either the main event, where there's a lot of prizes, like money prizes and packs and things like that, or you can do side events, which is what I did. They had just come out with a new kind of a comedic-based set. So we just went to have some fun. You pay a little bit of money, you get some cards, you play in like a contained format with 7 other people. It was a ton of fun, and then we just got to walk around the convention, see some Magic celebrities, meaning like commentators and pro players and things like that, and just meet with some of the fans of us or of cosplay in general. Amy got to walk around and talk to
Yeah,
some
the
people,
fans
so.
were more fun to meet
Oh, yeah.
because they loved my costumes.
Yeah, and they recognized the characters from playing with the cards and things like that,
Yeah.
so it was a good time.
It's good.
Yep.
Well, we're glad you came on. I'm glad Dave introduced you to us at the Comic-Con, and you've been watching us every week, so we're glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
Going into a little discussion that we all love to talk about, especially this time of the year as we head towards WrestleMania. WWE, no, Daniel Bryan.
That's right.
So does that make you not like Daniel Bryan?
Oh, I love Daniel
Do
Bryan.
you?
I bought this shirt years ago when he was part of Team Hell No, and so the no's were the thing that he was doing. So.
So WWE, big news this week is that Daniel Bryan was cleared to wrestle.
Yes.
It's like Daniel Bryan.
Hey, Dan.
I know who he is.
What's
You
that?
forgot to mention Amy's shirt.
I didn't notice her shirt.
Yeah, Amy's got
Oh.
her the thank you Daniel Bryan from when he retired.
Yeah.
So are you two big Daniel Bryan fans?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're both huge fans,
You know what? I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of any wrestlers, really.
I've
But
been.
I know some stuff.
Yeah, I watched wrestling a lot when I was younger, and I pretty much religiously followed about since like 2006. But I've seen Daniel Bryan in his entire run. I watched the original season of NXT that he was on when he was mentored by The Miz, and then the whole program with that. So yeah, I mean, I've been following him in his time in WWE and somewhat aware of his time in the Indies beforehand.
so people who may not know the back history of Daniel Bryan, he did retire 2 years ago, right? Is it about 2 years ago? 3?
Yeah, around.
Something like that.
It was
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah. So it's been about 2 years since Daniel Bryan retired because he wasn't cleared to wrestle by WWE. He went out for the last 2 years, worked, went to medical opinion after medical opinion, got
and did medical treatments to himself to better himself. It's not like he was just coming to every doctor being like, "Will you clear me to wrestle?" No, next one.
At the end of the day, he made it clear that if WWE didn't clear him, he was obviously going to leave. I think his contract was up towards the summer, maybe the fall, and now WWE has cleared him to wrestle. So Daniel Bryan was always the baby face guy that the crowd loved to get behind, again, especially against the Authority, Triple H, Stephanie, all of them. I think he's one of the few last true baby faces to go through, and babyface is someone the fans love. And they seem to rally behind him every single time. Even when they kind of played around with him the last couple months about being a heel maybe with them, even the crowd still kind of didn't really go for it too much. So it was obviously big news when they announced that he was cleared to wrestle. So I guess the first question is, where does he go from here? Do you feel like he's going to jump in maybe the Shane McMahon match with Kevin Owens, obviously after what happened last week? Yeah. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I mean, is that what we feel like is going to happen? Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I could see that. I really hope that they put him in something good because WrestleMania is jam-packed. I mean, they have so many people that should be on the main show that are wrestling in the pre-show. I mean, thanks a lot, Brock Lesnar, stupid idiot. But I think he'll be anything that he does. I feel like is pure gold. He's just some majestic unicorn in the field of wrestling. So
Beautifully put.
I think he will make an impact one way or another, depending on what match gets put in. For personal not wanting to watch someone pass away on national television, I would really prefer he be in a tag match because he can be safe and they can not keep him in the ring the entire time. He doesn't have to do all the repertoire that he has had previously, and I hope that man never does another diving headbutt as long as he's alive.
Right.
I hope the term diving goat never gets said out loud except in reference to the fact that, hey, he used to do blank. So I think him and Shane O'Mac against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they have the storyline. They've been shoehorning it in every week on SmackDown. And if they don't do anything with it on Mania to have a big blow-off, then what was the point?
Mike, you know anything about Daniel Bryan?
Nope. I know. I just know that. Yes. That's
Yeah, he's pretty
That's why
famous
you
for the
Google
yes,
it, Mike.
yes.
Come on.
it wouldn't be a true representation then.
Amy?
See, for me, I think, I'm kind of in the same boat as Dave, I think. I'm worried that because he's such a determined person who's
Right.
so all about wrestling. I mean,
Right.
that's who he is.
He's not gonna
a
let
lot
it
of
go.
wrestlers,
Yeah.
that's their career. For him, that's who he is.
Right.
And so I'm afraid that his heart's going to break a second time when, he's wrestling, gets injured, and he has to retire again.
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. I mean, I feel like even though he's back, how much is he really going to do? Like, what is WWE really? I mean, yeah, they might have cleared him, and there may be backstories about, maybe WWE wants money, they don't want it, they want to make him a success story, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think everyone's going in with a little bit of caution here. I mean, are we really going to throw? They did. What was it? Kevin Owens picked him up, and what's the move they call it? Where he body power slams him onto the side of the apron.
You mean
Apron powerbomb.
The apron powerbomb.
That's the first move they decided to do after he just comes back from neck surgery. I mean, really? Like, I mean, no one was like. The people in the back were like, "Oh boy!" Like, come on. I mean,
well, I mean, they did have Kevin Owens do that to Sami Zayn on his first day at NXT when Sami Zayn was very clearly injured. So.
Right.
There's something to it where Kevin clearly knows how to do it safely enough where that to all of us is like, oh my God, but really not as injurious as we would like to.
Side question, do you think that was done deliberately, that move? That particular move to show that, okay, we're willing to give him any hit necessary to...
That's also to try to cap off the fact that they had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens cleaning house every week on people. He did it to Chris Jericho. He did it to Sami Zayn. They did it to Shane O'Mac. It's a way of putting an emphatic on it. We're beating you up, and not just like the, yeah, they're going to be out for 2 weeks, and then the week later they're like, he's back, my God! Like, and then it's like, whatever.
Joe, where do you think he's going? Do you think he's pretty happy? I mean, obviously you're happy he's back. You think what do you think? Shane McMahon match for WrestleMania?
Yeah, I mean that definitely seems to be where they're going with it. I think that it would be nice, especially with the concerns that Dave and Amy were bringing up with injuries. I think that it would be nice if they made him. I mean, he's the commissioner right now, or the GM. So I think it would be better if they treated him like they treat Shane. So you bring him out twice a year, 3 times a year to do those matches with guys like a Sami Zayn and a Kevin Owens who know him. They've known him in the indies. They know how to protect him and to work safe with him so that he doesn't get hurt. He doesn't have to do those crazy spots. They can still make the match look really good, but it's still going to be good. It's still going to be enjoyable. And we were watching the WWE 24 episode from when Daniel Bryan had to retire, and Kevin Owens, Amy pointed this out, I didn't even realize it, but Kevin Owens pointed out that he was a little upset that he never got to wrestle Daniel in WWE. He got to wrestle him in the indies, never got to wrestle him in WWE, and Amy's point was, well, look, now the first match they're bringing him back for is against Kevin Owens, at least partially, of course.
So obviously we all think that Shane McMahon obviously is the first match that he's going to be in, teaming up with Shane McMahon against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Where do we see, two-part question that I'll ask you guys, where A, do we see him being full-time or part-time, and where do we see him going in the next couple of months? Joe, I'll keep it with you. What do you think?
Sure. I would say part-time. Like I said, that's what I hope for.
Right.
I think to keep him safe, that's the best way to do it. He's still the GM, so he's still going to be on TV every week. I assume, we know that a lot of times the WrestleMania storyline isn't always immediately over then. There's still some bleed over, so they may do like a secondary match at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania for SmackDown, but I would hope that then it kind of peters off. Eventually, I would like for him to meet up with The Miz. I think that's what everybody is looking forward to, is him and The Miz again, because of all the heat that Miz had with Daniel Bryan when Miz was on SmackDown, although now he's not. Right. So we'll see how that works with, after WrestleMania, if they do another shakeup with the draft or something.
Right.
Because I think that's the next likely direction based on kind of the thread that they sowed before that. But
right. I hear you. Tyler, what do you think? What do you think? Part-time, full-time, part-time, and where do you think his next couple opponents are going to be?
I think he's going to be part-time as well. I know he's going to want to be full-time, but Joe kind of stole my answer for sure. I definitely think he's going to fight The Miz. I think what they should do with him is just, make him a big kind of pay-per-view type match guy. You don't have to go out there every single night and kill yourself. They do it with John Cena all the time, so they might as well just do it with him. Because Daniel Bryan, he has that statue now where he's like John Cena almost. So, I think he's going to fight The Miz. I agree 100% with Joe.
Myself and chat both agree. Daniel Bryan will want to wrestle full-time. I don't think WWE is going to give it to him, and I personally agree with that. I think he'll be on air more in the ring, but I don't think he should be mixing it up. Just as somebody who, just
Amy, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's really, really badly going to want to be full time, and I think time and time again they're just going to, put it off because they understand the severity of what his injuries were, even if he's cleared.
Yep.
Because, like I said, the second he gets hurt, it's going to be,
Well, I'm sure there's some pretty good backroom contract signed to allow him to wrestle again. WWE obviously had some issues with it. I think he will come back. He'll wrestle semi-part, semi-full. I think they're going to sell it as full-time, but clearly show that it's part-time. Like, I think he'll be on. He may not wrestle every episode, but I do think they'll cut him as GM. I think he'll get out of the GM role and go towards a competitor role, but I don't think he will be wrestling every house show, every SmackDown, every Raw. I think he'll be a pay-per-view only guy. I think they're going to sell him as full-time, but he's clearly going to wrestle maybe a little bit above part, if that makes any sense. I do think The Miz will be one of his key. I mean, talk about a storyline that probably had no potential. They at that point, they were certain that he wasn't going to wrestle. But now look what that's turned into, such a great storyline. And now Daniel Bryan can go back to see Miz wherever he is. Because remember, they're on different shows right now, so you got to get them on the same show somehow. I think that will be pretty interesting to see what goes on there.
Yeah.
As WrestleMania, as we go down the road to WrestleMania, a lot of surprises, a lot of coming and goings. We always see a lot of people return before WrestleMania. We see a lot of people leave after WrestleMania. And surprisingly, we see a lot of people return right after WrestleMania. The Raw after WrestleMania is always one of the big return episodes. So, real quick, going around the table here, who we all think could be going after WrestleMania? Who could be leaving after WrestleMania? Anyone of interest? I'll throw Brock Lesnar right off the bat.
Oh, scumbag!
Are you going to say him?
I was gonna say Brock Lesnar. Thank God.
Do you think though? Do you really think obviously he's playing both sides right now between UFC?
He needs to just leave.
I agree.
Time as a champion, just get out of here.
I won't say he needs to leave. I think he needs to drop the title for sure. That is something he needs to do. But do we see him really? I mean, at his age, you really see him going to UFC and giving up a big contract with WWE, or is it WWE that's cutting the cord? I mean,
I feel like Brock Lesnar has something to prove after, and I know Mike would agree with me.
He's a steroid monster.
After you viciously beat Mark Hunt, and
I don't agree with this at all. I loved Mark Hunt, and he got beat by a steroid monster. This is complete.
That's what I'm saying. After beating him, and then I'm just saying from a UFC fighter perspective, after beating Mark Hunt, and then you a couple weeks later you get caught with taking PEDs or steroids, you're probably gonna feel like people think that you cheated, which you did, but he wants a second chance at going out with a bang and going out the right way.
I'd like to see him with John Jones.
I think Brock Lesnar needs to go for sure.
Well, he's suspended, right?
Yeah, they're both suspended.
So switching over to UFC for a minute. As a UFC fan, would you appreciate Brock Lesnar coming back or no?
I always hated him, but he is good. He's a good fighter, and he always sells tickets. So.
And UFC has been pretty much of a lackluster pretty late. I mean, has there been one fight you've stopped to watch?
I haven't watched in a while. We're waiting for McGregor to get back in there.
Here's an idea. Make Vince McMahon really mad. Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk in the UFC. It'll break box office records.
It may, but they're not even in the same. They're not even close in the division.
It doesn't even matter. Neither of them are good anymore.
But UFC has definitely not had any big blockbuster events, so I can see them going hard for Brock Lesnar. So I don't know, contract and money wise. So I don't know. I think there's something that storyline's not over with yet. The title is definitely. Do we all agree coming off Brock Lesnar?
I would love it. I think it's about damn time. I like the storyline that Roman is doing with him, despite the fact that I'm not a huge Roman fan. I like what Roman is doing with saying Brock Lesnar's never around. Why is he never here? Why does he get away with never being here? But Dave and I were talking about this earlier. I agree that that's somewhat recycled from John Cena versus Brock Lesnar previously. That was kind of John Cena's complaint. Although John Cena kind of got crushed, whereas Roman, they've been building him up so much. So it seems like this time it'll work, although I think they want you to forget that they just did this with John Cena like a couple of years ago when Brock first showed up.
And that's why I have to say I kind of disagree with everybody. I don't think they're going to get rid of him at all. I think they're going to just keep on keeping on with this.
Hey, if it brings money and sales.
Hate him more, hate him more, hate him more.
I do feel like
I think because we're shoving it in your face.
Right.
And I
You mean
think
Roman Reigns? Wait.
I feel like
Yes.
for Brock Lesnar, they need to make him the heel again. They want people started to like Brock Lesnar, and that wasn't the purpose of him.
Right.
The purpose was for him to be an icon that destroys everything in its path, and they need to start making them. They need to start making him that image while taking the title away from him at the same time.
I think a great way to do that is by bringing up the whole steroid thing. I don't know if they will. But
They could.
that's a
They
great
really
way to
get deep
get
into the
some people
storyline, they
to
could.
hate him even more.
That's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we'd get a little muddy with Roman Reigns since there have been some accusations
yeah,
Well,
that's a good counterpoint. Yeah,
hey, we could hate them both. We already do.
That's true. You could bring the third person in to just run them both.
but I do
Miz.
like how
The
they're.
Miz.
I do like how they're taking reality and bringing it into the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of did that. They've been doing that lately, and
Yep.
They have.
and I think it's a pretty good. You don't know what to believe. Like, are they really going to bring up something in real life? Not, but they are, and
Right.
I think it's pretty good. So Cummings, a big return season. Tyler, do you have any? You want to name off a few that you may think is coming at all to the next couple weeks?
I'll just name one because I don't want to steal anything from anybody, but I know for a fact he's coming back, and that's going to be Jeff Hardy, and I'm going to be super excited about it.
Is he really coming? No,
Is
sorry.
he coming back as Jeff Hardy, or is he coming back as somebody else?
I guess we'll see. They could easily put him in a a reality type thing where him and Matt Hardy go one-on-one, and Matt Hardy says that Jeff, what are you doing with your life? You just got a DUI, and then they put him in the Lake of Reincarnation, and then he comes out as Brother Nero. But I'm just excited for Jeff Hardy to come back. That's it.
Dave, what do you think?
I don't really have a fix on the radar and stuff like that, but I don't really think this Mania season there's going to be many returns or anything. I don't think the Monday Night Raw after is going to have much of an impact, or as much with, like, say, a Goldberg coming back, a Brock Lesnar coming back. I think they're just going to have another great one and things like that, but I don't think there's many returns for the Mania season, surprise returns.
Mike, you got anyone you could paint a picture to return? Who would you want to return?
I'd have to know who is gone. Say the Big Show again.
That's actually reasonable. If they do the Giant match, they actually could.
Maybe
They
I'll
could?
be a prophet then.
Do you have any?
I actually had one for going. I mean, it's somewhat of a cop out of an answer because he goes after every WrestleMania. But I'll mention the Undertaker for a second and say that while it hasn't been officially announced, obviously they've been teasing Taker versus John Cena for a long time. Years ago, I said that I wanted Undertaker versus John Cena in a submission match. They've both always been billed as guys who never give up, they never tap out, and they technically did a storyline with Undertaker where he tapped Brock Lesnar, but it didn't technically count. But if that's the way, if Taker's looking to get out, that would be a nice way to do it, with him finally tapping out in some way and then leaving. Look, I've been saying that for years. You could say it's fantasy booking or whatever. I've kind of been saying that for a very long time, where if they're trying to get rid of the guy, or if he is trying to say, you know what, I'm real old and I'd really rather not cart myself out here every year, that's my comment in terms of let him do the submission match. Let him have the match with John Cena. Because to be fair, if the submissions don't actually hurt, that's pretty easy for an older guy to just sit there with his head, like wrapped up in the other guy's legs or whatever, or have his leg bent backwards, and have him eventually go, ow, it hurts, and tap out. Like,
Have him laying in the ring. John, stop pulling on my hammy. I have to have surgery on that, you son of a...
exactly. So I don't know. He will always leave after WrestleMania, whether it's permanent or not, who knows, but if this is the final one for him, that's the way I would do it.
I don't really understand the whole point of the Cena Undertaker match. I don't know what they get out of whoever wins either one.
Nope.
He's already dead.
Nope.
He's already dead, unless he's coming out as American Badass to some Limp Biscuit and on a motorcycle. There's no reason for him to come down to Mania.
I don't know what the point of the entire match is. None of them are really going to come out any better over either one.
The main reason is you sell tickets to Access that way.
Right.
That's the main reason why. You get them both at Access. They were money when we went years ago. They were like $120 to like stand in line forever and get like a signature from
You
them.
miss almost entirely the access to get one or the other and not both.
Yep.
Right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, still talk WWE in a minute, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Oh, TJ, people in chat wish TJ happy birthday.
Back. And we're back, episode 10, Behind the Counter, presented by Insane Games. We got Joe and Amy with us this time to finish out our WWE segment. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at Geek for All, YT, and YouTube at Geek for All. Also, check us out on Facebook on Insane Games NY, Insane Games FL. Twitch at Insane Video Games, Twitter at pod_BTC, and YouTube at Behind the Counter.
God, 4-star Dan got all the plugs in.
I liked it.
You forgot Instagram.
I
though.
knew he was going to say that. I was waiting. I knew he was going to say that. Oh, Joe, do you see anything on your Instagram? There's nothing there. I don't have it.
That's why you're only 4-star.
Goddamn bastard. I knew you were going to bring that up. I was going to let it slide under and hope I can get out of it without saying it.
Well, so what's the Instagram?
Behind the
Did I
Counter
mute it?
Pod.
I thought I hit it.
Poor Dakota leaving him out in the cold watching us talking.
Oh, man.
Dakota,
Did I not hit that?
No, just to catch you up, Dakota, you missed another fantastic 4-star Dan moment where he delivered it as best he could and still missed the Instagram plug.
Wow. Well, what are you going to do? Still talking WWE here. We just got done talking about the comings and goings. I'll elaborate on that just a little bit more. I feel like Jeff Jarrett getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think they're going to...
Definitely.
I think they're going to do something with him after. That's normally what they do, is they bring someone in Hall of Fame. And then I feel like that's their way of getting rid of Daniel Bryan for the GM. And what great entertainment would it be to have Jeff Jarrett as the GM
Double J-E-double-F Jarrett.
the GM of SmackDown. So I think that would be quite interesting.
No, look, I'm only laughing because to have him on SmackDown coupled with Kurt Angle on Raw is so awkward. If anybody's aware of their time in TNA.
Quite entertaining, though.
You mean total nonstop action. Don't say the abbreviation of that company. This is not that rated program.
I was going to say, we'll bleep that out.
But yeah, I think he'll have a big storyline after the fact for SmackDown. I think they'll use him. They won't have him wrestle, obviously. I feel like they'll get rid of Daniel Bryan and have him come in as a GM, which I think will be interesting. Hulk Hogan, a lot of rumors going around. Dave, you've been up to date on the news for Hulk Hogan?
Because I delved into that because I was curious, what is WWE, a publicly traded company, going to do with a man that is persona non grata? You absolutely cannot have him on the roster. And they said, almost to the T, we are happy that he is making steps to make right what he has said, but we have stood by our words. We are not doing business with Terry Boella, Hulk Hogan. They have officially said, this is the line. You have jumped over it. We will allow people to go to rehab. We will allow people to rekindle with families. But when you say the things you said and in the way that you said them and then react the way that you did to it, again, publicly traded company aside, which is morally,
Right.
no thanks.
But I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I always think you don't know what the truth is with WWE.
That's true.
I feel like
They send out
all the
a
time.
lot of tweets every day, and half
Tyler,
of them
you're
don't
a
mean
big,
nothing.
Hulk Hogan fan. What do you think? You think he may come back? Obviously, you're hoping he comes back, right?
Yeah, I am. I think it's time. I think he's paid his dues, and it's been a long time. So he's what made WWF back in the day. He took them to the next pedestal. So I mean, he apologized as many times as you could apologize, and I'm sure he's dealt with everything. So
Right.
I think it's time for him to come back.
So you expect that walking down the aisle on WrestleMania weekend, you're gonna hear that ever classic guitar theme, and have him misplace the place where the dome is.
Yeah, that it would only be fitting for him to come back to New Orleans.
Oh my God, Dave.
Have fun putting that on YouTube.
Nope. Just you're gonna hear those guitar riffs, and half people in the audience are gonna go hooray, and half the audience people are gonna go oh.
And draft. Obviously, the draft is after the after the WrestleMania pay-per-view. Any big changes we think going on across the board? Joe, what do you think?
I mean, we talked about The Miz already. So if you're going to try to get Daniel Bryan and The Miz on the same program, whether if your plan goes through with getting him off as GM and bringing him in as, maybe as Raw talent instead of SmackDown talent to get him on the same show with The Miz, or bringing The Miz over to SmackDown, that's one way of doing it. There's always, unfortunately, I'm not as up on NXT as I would like to be, but there's always, for the draft, there's always people being brought up from NXT, so I'm assuming they'll do some of that as well.
Right. Tyler, what do you think? What do you think the major draft plan
I
is?
think one person that's going to definitely switch is going to be Finn Balor. He's been wearing a lot of blue tights lately, so that's an indicator. But also, I would love to see him and AJ Styles go one-on-one for the title. I mean, Finn Balor definitely deserves to be.
So cool.
I kind of think AJ Styles will be I think AJ Styles is probably going to lose the title to Nakamura at WrestleMania, and I think he will go over to Raw to introduce a whole new storyline into that program. I think The Miz will probably come over to SmackDown. I think it's time to start moving some of the top dogs around. I really, really think they need to put a title on The Miz. One of the major titles.
I was going to say.
One of the major titles.
Okay.
He needs to be a WWE champion or a Universal champion. He needs to be one of them.
His last run was real good. I enjoyed that story.
We have a hot take from chat. Amp Slayer is calling it now. We're going to have a return. It's going to be a big push. He's going to get right in the title picture. The Hurricane.
He was at Rumble, right?
He was at the Rumble. He had the biggest pop, and they did a program with Kevin Nash when he got a big pop at the Rumble.
It's true.
Why not? Why not give the Hurricane his 5 seconds of fame?
Well,
I met the Hurricane at the Comic-Con we went to in New Jersey, and we went, and maybe it was just me being stupid Dan or something, but I was walking through, and I was waiting at his booth forever. I'm like, where's the guy? He was apparently in the bathroom, and he came out, and I was walking up, I go, oh, hey, man, hey, big fan, and he goes, oh, hey, maybe kind of stalking him for a minute. I was trying to, and I go, hey, can I get a picture and autograph? He goes, that's my booth for over here. It's $45. I'm like, okay, see you later. I went back over to my booth.
That is
the room.
verbatim the story that we have when we met the Hurricane. We walked up to the booth. He was not there. We walked away, and we saw him walking back. And I said to him, I was like, hey, Mr. Helms, could we get a picture? And his girlfriend steps in front of him, way taller than him, by the way.
Oh, that's his girlfriend? I thought that was his secretary.
I assume. I mean, maybe a little.
There was a girl there too when I was there.
Yes, that's his either girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the fingers to see, and I haven't Facebook stalked him. But she stepped in front. She was like, "Oh yeah, you can come to the booth, $45. You get a tighter picture with him and an autograph, and you get a picture with this title that he created that doesn't mean anything." And I was like,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I got the impression she was like his manager or
Right.
like his secretary, and everything goes through her first.
Could be both.
kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you gotta imagine when you get to, his status as a wrestler, and there's nothing wrong with that. I gotta imagine a lot of them rely on autograph signings and fees,
Oh, yeah.
and that's how they keep their.
He's actually writing. He's a backstage producer for Impact Wrestling now.
I think I did read that.
A
yeah.
road agent. So he's got some double income. He's just double dipping.
Well, and with the Hardys back, Hurricane was behind the scenes huge friends with the Hardys. So that may be how he got on in the Rumble in the first place, and that may be why he'd be more willing to come back for a more permanent role, is because his friends are there and he would now have connections inside. So
Tyler, what's your take on the whole Broken and Woken Hardy storyline and the Hardy camp, the compound?
I love it, honestly. I'm glad that they introduced Senior Benjamin and what is it? Is it Rebby or it's Rebby? Right?
Rebby, yes.
He's calling her Rebecca, I think, but yeah, Rebby Sky.
Yeah,
That's his actual wife,
Queen Rebecca,
right? Yeah.
Yes, that's his wife.
King
Senior
Axel.
Benjamin's the father-in-law.
Okay.
Lord Wolfgang. I love it all. I just love it. It's great. It's amazing television. It's so stupid that it's amazing. That's all I can say.
And that's wrestling.
It's a perfect concept for WWE. That's all. If you literally watch that anywhere else on TV, you'd probably be like, "What the hell am I watching?" But it makes sense on WWE.
I don't know. I think it's just amazingly stupid.
Really? What's your reasoning? Why do you think it's...
I just think it's so over the top and ridiculous, but that's just my opinion.
Now, are you a
I
Hardy's
think
fan?
No.
Alright, so maybe is it because you're not a Hardy's fan, or you just don't like the
I'm
way
not a
it's
Hardy's
produced?
fan because
or-
I think that's ridiculous.
I think honestly, I love how different it is and how you haven't seen something like this ever before. It's not like the same old run-of-the-mill kind of thing. But I could also see why you think it would be stupid as well, because it's very over the top.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
where
I see
do
your
you
side.
see them going with it, Tyler? I mean, do you see them? What do you think the future is for that? I mean, obviously he can't feud with Bray Wyatt forever. So where do you see him going?
Right. Where do I see Bray Wyatt going?
No, where do you see Matt Hardy going?
Nowhere is the answer to that one. Short take.
But I mean, I think they're going to introduce Brother Nero, and I think they're going to delete the whole entire tag team division of some sorts. I would assume that's where I would think would be a good. Either way, if they both go singles with Brother Nero and Broken Matt, I think they'd be still doing pretty good.
I think they'll keep them together, and I think the tag team division could use a pretty good shakeup. And we can't keep having Sheamus and Cesaro
the
be
Raw
the.
tag team needs a shakeup, not the SmackDown. SmackDown is stacked.
Yeah.
Raw needs new talent. They need a new. When you have the Miztourage as one of the tag teams, that's set.
What do we feel? Wait. Speaking of tag team, Braun Strowman, big guy.
He was what?
Do we really feel like they're going to give him a partner? I think he's going to go in solo. And I think he's going to win it solo. And he's going to be the only guy ever to have 2 titles by himself. Is that not a reason?
Neville.
You don't think
Well,
that's
Chris Jericho had 2 titles by himself.
no, tag team.
Yeah.
Come on.
He was a solo tag team champion? I don't think
When
he's ever
Edge got
been.
hurt.
What?
When Edge got hurt for like a singular day, he came out with the belts.
But has anyone won the title for tag team title by themselves in WWE history? I don't think it's ever been done.
I'm no historian, but I don't believe
I don't think
so.
I don't think I've ever seen it done. So I believe that they could possibly do that with Braun Strowman, and it gets him away from winning the actual main title, but also makes it like I just won the tag team title by myself. And eventually they got to lead to him being the champion, because I don't know, you can't keep avoiding that subject with him because he destroys everyone and he's not the world champion. So I don't really understand what's going on there. But do we really see him bringing in a tag partner or no?
I mean, they've tried to tell him what to do in the past, and it's never really worked. So even though they're like forcing him to get a tag team partner, no, I'm with you. I don't think it works. I don't think it sticks.
The Hurricane. Hurricane. That's where he fits
Hurricane
in.
Dave.
That's right where he fits in. Braun Strowman comes out and he's like, "Catch these hands! There's a hurricane coming through!" Dun, 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 dun. Ridiculous. They win the titles. They lose them the next night. Everybody goes their separate ways. Braun Strowman just power bombs the hell out of him. Done.
Mike, don't you like Braun Strowman a lot?
I mean, I watched like a program or two with him that I enjoyed him in. I thought he was quite moist.
I feel like you'd be a huge Braun Strowman fan.
He's
with
got a
his whole
humongous
gifted
beard.
chance.
That's his saying?
So
Yeah.
Mike, so you like Braun Strowman, right?
He's cool.
Do you think he needs a tag partner? A man of his stature. Do you
That
think
would
he
be pretty
needs one?
sweet to see somebody win the tag team by himself.
Would you be hoping he wins it by
I'd-
himself?
I'd like to see that. I'd be interested. I'd tune in.
I don't think he needs a tag partner. I think he wins it without him.
What about Amy? What does she think?
I don't know if he's going to end up with a tag team partner, really. But, I mean, he doesn't need one, but they might just do it for fun.
Right.
You know? Why not?
Yeah.
He did get along well into the Survivor Series team until Triple H threw out that total wild card, eliminated Kurt Angle, and then Shane, and then Braun Strowman beat the crap out of him. So,
Speaking of Kurt Angle, he's in a pretty big match. We can't avoid talking about this. Ronda Rousey, I don't think we ever brought up on the program that she's now with WWE, so-called full-time. But she signed a full-time contract with WWE to wrestle in the women's division. They're smart not to give her the women's title right away and alienate all the other ones. So, Mike, what do you feel about her coming to WWE?
I'm not excited for her. Last time I saw her in UFC, she got beat up wicked bad. I didn't think she had that much leverage to come in as a champion from another sport because she's not anymore. But
for viewers who don't know, Mike's a UFC fan but doesn't really like WWE. So the fact that we have a little cross, one person going back to another, we like
that whole pay-per-view for the UFC when Brock Lesnar was fighting, and every 15 minutes a WWE branded thing came up, watching him on the couch just grip the can tighter and tighter until the pay-per-view ended with Brock Lesnar knocking out who looks just like Mike.
knock him out, won by decision.
It does look like Mike. Bleach your hair and you got it as a match.
He got cheated against. It's absurd.
But I do think
It's true, he did cheat, but-
Ronda has definitely lost some image. She's not, when she got knocked out the last time, it was WWE must have been like, oh, she's not going to be as, or they could have been, oh wow, come on
So
over.
what
But either
angle are they
way,
going to come in with? Are they going to acknowledge the beatdown, or are they going to?
so far they haven't.
they have said very on the nose, like, well, you know, you don't always have winning ways, and then
Right.
Ronda gets in their face about it. So they edge around it without specifically someone going, and you got knocked out, and you got knocked out, and you got knocked out.
Tyler, what do you think of the Ronda handling so far? Do you think she's being managed well? Do you think she needs someone talking for her? Do you like the way they've introduced her in?
Well, I thought from the beginning that ever since I watched her first promo that I kind of felt bad because she was a little bit awkward talking on the mic. But I think she's doing a lot better, you know, each time she goes out there. Would I like to see her with Paul Heyman? Yes. But I know it's not going to happen.
I love to see everybody with
I
Paul
also
Heyman.
think that she needs to work a little bit more because I was watching her Samoan power drop on Stephanie, and I guess like Tommy Dreamer or it was Bubba Ray Dudley that said she needs to watch out with how she was doing it because she could have hurt herself. So she has a lot to work on, but Kurt Angle also had the same thing when he came out of the 96 Olympics. I mean, he was a rough wrestler too, so I think she'll be fine. It'll translate perfectly for her. So
See, I disagree with you on the Paul Heyman. I think they'll make it work with Paul Heyman and her because they're on this whole making the women's and the men's.
They're going to do it.
I think with the whole making the women's and the men's the same division, I think Stephanie is going to feel you put Paul Heyman with Brock, now put Paul Heyman with Ronda. And then let's see how, because, you know, obviously WWE is really pushing the women's division right now. I mean, and they should because it's some great wrestling, some great storylines, rivalries going on between all of them. You know, I think putting Paul Heyman with her would be a great, and I think it's something they would probably do.
They have to get them somehow line up astrological calendars to get Paul Heyman and Ronda Rousey in the same building at the same time, because his client is on an extremely part-time calendar and she is on an extremely part-time calendar. So the fact if they had both of them on at the same time would cost so much money. So unless at Mania they do a thing where Kurt Angle walks past and is like, oh, by the way, this is my friend Paul Heyman, and they do that like long thing where Paul just kind of like nods at her as she walks away, like there's going to be no way to introduce that storyline unless they just bluntly have like Paul be like, well, I'm representing her now.
They've done it before.
They
I wouldn't
have.
be surprised.
And it would make sense. He's a busy guy.
Amy, what do you think of Ronda? Or what do you think of the whole women's division?
Well, I don't have much to say about the women's division. I don't love Ronda personally, but I mean, I don't think she's gonna have anything to do with Paul Heyman personally. I think, and I think she could kind of hold her own on the mic, maybe. I'm a little more worried about the wrestling technique from
It's
her.
a lot different than UFC ring.
So, that's what I have to say about that.
Wait, Dan, do you think that you would be a good WWE wrestler since you know Muay Thai?
How does that have anything to do with WWE?
He just.
Well,
I'm sorry, you boxed for a month. Does that make you qualified to be in WWE?
Yeah. I've jumped on the trampoline a couple times, maybe.
See, you're missing the whole point of Muay Thai. You don't understand it. Muay Thai is not to show off in front of people. It's only to be used in the time of grave danger. And as I said, when your life is on the line, I will be there. And that's all you need
All
to know.
I'm saying is Ronda Rousey was a bronze medalist for judo. I don't know if you knew that.
Great.
It's pretty similar to you with Muay Thai.
Thank you, Dakota, for the salt spray. It definitely runs deep with the Muay Thai bring up.
If we ever talk about conspiracy theories, the biggest one is Dan actually knowing Muay Thai.
Throw out as many accusations as you want. I mean,
it'll be good. You know who has better chance of going into wrestling? Myself and Mike. I'll be his mouthpiece. He'll get in the. I'll get him into a fight that he doesn't want to do, but I'll make sure to really antagonize the hell out of the person, so that Mike has to do it, and then Mike will throw that big signature right hand, and he will do his signature, just the zip, and it'll be a slam, match over, and I will walk into the ring and be like, see, I told you all, and then we will leave. It'll be great.
Sign us.
real quick, going around the table.
Sign Dan, he knows Muay Thai.
Real quick, what do we all think the big moment for WrestleMania is going to be? Joe?
Oh man.
The big moment.
I think the show-stealing match has got to be Shinsuke AJ.
All right.
That's I don't know about big return or big name coming out or anything like that. I don't know that I've thought about it that much, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that match a lot. I think it's going to be amazing.
Tyler, what are people going to be talking about late Sunday night, Monday morning after WrestleMania? What do you think is going to be the big moment?
Hulk Hogan messing up the Mercedes-Benz Dome again.
Do you really think he's going to be there?
I don't know. I hope so, and it would be amazing if he did that.
The last time they were in New Orleans, he came out and he just whiffed where they were.
One of my favorite moments, by the way, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock all in the ring at the same time.
And Shawn Michaels was there, wasn't he?
No, it's just the three of them.
Oh, okay.
Beers and everything.
The three biggest, by far, the three biggest icons.
The close of
Besides
Mania.
Undertaker.
Yeah. The close of WrestleMania is going to be Roman Reigns wins the title again from Brock Lesnar, and he's gonna be holding up the title. They're gonna low-key tune out the boos. I'm gonna be yelling straight at whatever television I'm watching it on, because I am very bored with the Roman experiment. I'm very salty about that. I think Shinsuke AJ is going to be a barn burner, and they had better put a match in between those two matches, or it is going to be boring.
Yeah.
The AJ style match, I don't really know if I feel like that's gonna be relatively. I don't know. I'm not all that excited about it.
Ooh, do I have clips to show you?
I'm not sure either. I don't know.
I don't understand how you could say that.
I don't know if I'm being...
I have so many clips to show you now.
I understand history. I'm just not all that there with it. I'm just like, okay, Mike?
Is Rhonda going?
Yeah.
I hope she loses.
Amy, what do you think the big moment for WrestleMania is going to be?
I think everyone's going to be talking about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah?
And I think it's going to suck because I think it's really going to take away from the Shinsuke AJ match. Because I think that's going to be incredible.
What about Asuka and Charlotte? I know you're not a Charlotte person.
Yeah, I love Asuka, but against Charlotte,
I heard rumors that they're going to keep the title on her for an entire year until WrestleMania 35 against... That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And that is one of the reasons why I tuned...
No, it's totally fair because it didn't work for Brock.
We're going to put another title on another wrestler for another year with no chance of changing it over. It's just whatever. Whether you're a fan or not a fan of that wrestler, to any wrestler, it's just like The Rock. Even though I'm a Rock fan, it wouldn't be fun to have The Rock just have the title for an entire year. It's just boring. Yep. There's no change up. There's nothing. I don't know. Don't get me going.
I think, I just as a rebuttal, I think they're going to book that one correctly, just like they did the Summer of Punk. And I think they're going to book it correctly where it's believable and fun to watch. So for her carrying the title each year will be tune in this Sunday to see if Asuka can finally get beaten by, and they write these people to be believably competition for her. That's what I think they're going to do. That's what they did with NXT, and they're going to do it with WWE again. And then at Mania next year, she's going to lose the title to Ronda Rousey.
If that
All right,
happens.
we can talk WWE forever, so we gotta end that. Make sure you guys, first of all, Joe, Amy, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you
Enjoy
guys for
it.
having us. This is
I'm
great.
looking forward to seeing you guys at the Saratoga Comic Con. And you guys can see all of us at Saratoga Comic Con April 7th and 8th at the Saratoga City Center. The tickets are on sale online and you can buy at the door. I believe they're $20 per day.
But do not assume, because they sold out Saturday
VIPs
last week.
are sold
last
out.
time. Yeah, but they
All
sold out
the
at the door
VIPs are
last
sold
time.
out
So
already. So rather you show up on the door knocking, you're not going to get them. Make sure you check out Joe and Amy on Geek for All YT on Twitter and YouTube at Geek for All. Make sure you check out all of our channels. I'm not going to go through them all again, but make sure you check us out on our Twitch channel, Insane Video Games. Dave is on the program Wednesday nights for the weekend Wednesday. And great show.
Four-star Dan!
Mike and I sometimes make a guest appearance on the show, but this week Tom Thompson, who guest hosted for Dave while he was out, will be joining Dave to play a little PUBG.
Some PUBG and some other games that I want to, since Tom Thompson is a gamer, I want him to try to tackle at some of these, and so things of that nature. But yes.
And then also make sure you check in Thursday nights for Insane Game Late Night with Mike and I. I think what were we doing this week? Maybe a little Halo?
I'm down. My brother came out of retirement, one of the greatest Halo players I've ever known.
Over that
Gallagher?
God!
Watch it.
Gallagher is
warm. We're
back, and
still
you
getting
should
there.
be very wary of him on online.
If you want to watch us, if you like Burger King, you want to watch Dave eat Oreos and Mike eat Oreos, stop in. I know that last week the Oreo packages were out everywhere, and everyone's eating Oreos. And make sure you check out Beagmaster was online last night playing a little Fortnite.
And a severe disclaimer before Tyler says anything: this is the most rated R program that you will see, but that's why he keeps it to a fair hour for all of us adults to be able to appreciate.
And quite entertaining watching him and his friend
It
Will
was
go
great.
through.
It was
And,
great.
I had a great time watching it last night. I thought it was hilarious. So make sure, I don't know if he's doing it. What's that?
What'd you like most about it?
I don't know. I think it was just your overall attitude about playing the game and yelling at Will and blaming Will Classic Tyler, blaming everyone else.
Nice if I had a partner the whole entire time, but he decided to die right off the rip.
So yeah, make sure you check out Tyler's program Saturday nights, Mike Thursday, Dave on Wednesday.
My name for my podcast is pending. I want to try and get something where it has to do with drinking beers and playing video games, but I don't know what to do with that.
Nothing
but
else?
Once we have an
We'll
official
figure it
title
out.
for
We'll figure
that, once we have an official title for that, we'll announce that one. And we should have a lot of fun. And then obviously make sure you tune into the Powerhouse show here, the Behind the Counter Sunday nights, for episode 11 next week. Anything else before we close out?
There's been somebody in chat who's been crying. Could we all just say hi to Penguin? Can we all look at the camera and just, hi, Penguin? He has been dying.
We'll be here next week. CM Chase from Saratoga Comic Con to be on with us next week. And I think we're good.